Hey everybody, one nerd here. The other two, one's drawing in his room, the other one is still trying to get over the flu. But I thought it would be fun for me to share with you some of the other stuff that we do and collect. All three of us were helping a buddy sell his house, and he had to get rid of some stuff. And he was hoarding collectible action figures, and he knew that I was a nerd, and so he was like, "Hey, I put all of these in a box, and you can just take these home with you." And so I looked at it, and I just assumed it was like a small box. No, no, it filled up my entire trunk and then some. And then he also had this really cool neon light, and it was something that my wife's father had. I've spoken about it before. He had a cigar shop, and it was something that he had up in the cigar shop, and somehow went home with our buddy. And so my wife had an affinity for it because she's always just enjoyed it. I hasn't seen it in forever, and was like, that was the one that was up in the shop. And then she was like, I'd love to have it. And so we worked out a deal, and he was like, you can just have everything. It was your dad's, you can have that, and you can have all of these toys. Don't even worry about it. He's like, I hope you just enjoy them, and if you ever sell them, you could throw me half or something. Well, I know he's got a lot of expenses moving and stuff like that, and so what I decided to do was just to throw him some PayPal cash, and I tried to be as generous as I could. Like I said, he's a buddy, so certainly wasn't trying to take advantage. And at the end of the day, he was actually giving us everything for free. But I thought I would throw him some money to help with the moving expenses, because we all know that's really expensive to do. So he was really appreciative and was not expecting anything. And like I said, he's been a friend for a long time, so I tried to be as generous as possible. But I didn't want all that stuff. It's not stuff that is going to be in my collection. And so what I decided to do was to go through everything and keep the stuff that I want and go ahead and sell. I'll probably throw everything else on eBay. But I thought it'd be fun to go through it with y'all. And just before I throw it on the eBay, I've actually already sold some things. And my hope is to sell enough to kind of break even on this deal, and still keep the stuff I want to keep. So, for example, there is a really cool neon light. I told you about the neon light that was up in the cigar shop. So the neon light I'll put here. It's really awesome. It says Greenville Avenue on it, and Greenville Avenue is a famous street in Dallas where they have lots of bars and things like that. Plus, we love the blues and the guitar theme, and it looks great. And I've actually put it up in our garage, kind of in my smoking lounge, because I got kicked into the garage. And there's two reasons for that. One, when it's wintertime, it's really cold, and sometimes I just like to sit out there and have a cigar. Then you don't have the wind and stuff hitting you. And two, in the summertime, there's lots of mosquitoes and stuff, and so I don't like to sit on my back patio because I just get chewed up. No, doesn't matter how many citronella candles or whatever you put out there, unless you're going to be in long sleeves and shorts, and then put your insect spray all over your neck and stuff, you're going to get tore up. And when it's still 92 degrees when the sun's down, you don't want to wear pants and long sleeves. It's miserable. So when that happens, I can just turn on a fan and sit in the garage, and it's usually cooler than it is outside. And anyway, that's what I do. There also were a lot of 3 Beavis and Butthead figures that actually I thought were really cool. I just didn't know what I was going to do with them. And the movie had just come out, or I guess, and fairly recently, and lots of people were picking up Beavis and Butthead stuff, and these were really cool figures. So I'm assuming that they look really cool in somebody's office who dug Beavis and Butthead when they were a kid like me. I also had this really cool Robbie the Robot, and what was cool about the Robbie the Robot is there was also a magazine cover that talked about the toys of the year, and it was on the cover. So I sold the Robbie the Robot plus the magazine. I wasn't a huge Lost in Space fan. Not that I disliked it. It was just a little bit before my time. Like I remember seeing the movie. The movie was okay. The one with Matt LeBlanc. And I really liked the series that came on. Was that Netflix? Amazon? I don't know. It was really good. The only issue I had with that is that there were long gaps between the seasons. It drives me crazy. But it's really good. If you haven't seen that, it's worth looking up. They spent a lot of money on the special effects and did a good job. I had a Dallas Cowboys diecast tractor trailer, which was cool. But again, I didn't really have anywhere to put it. And I don't know. I went ahead and let that go. And there was a really cool Lara Croft still in the box. It was huge though, and although I played the game back in the '90s, and the movie was pretty good. I mean, Angelina Jolie is not hard to look at. Yeah, it just wasn't for my collection, but it was cool, and I'm sure somebody loved it. But let that go. There was a McFarland Jimi Hendrix from Woodstock, which was really cool. My issue with that is that although it was still on the card, the bubble was cracked and it was really darkened by the sun or the heat or whatever does that. And so I wasn't. It was one that, if it was in my collection, I was going to rip it open, and I just thought somebody else would love it more than me. Although I love Jimi Hendrix, again, it's one of those things that do I have the room for this? Where would I put it? And then I had another one that I really liked. Also on the card, but it was, again, the bubble wasn't cracked, but it was darkened, and it was an Emmitt Smith McFarland. Being in Dallas, lots of good memories watching them get 3 Super Bowl rings in the '90s. But I don't have any Emmitt Smith autographs anymore, and at the time when I sold it, I was thinking that it would be fun to have a McFarlane figure on top of an autograph. Like, so if I had a mini helmet with Emmett on it, I'd put that McFarlane on top and have that kind of display. And I still think I might do that with some of my baseballs and stuff like that. I just got to figure out how to display that. But it sounds like something fun that I want to do. Anyway, that is all that I've sold so far. I still need to sell a lot to break even, but it'll be fun. So I do have lots of random stuff to go through, and if you like action figures and nerd stuff, I hope you stick with it and enjoy it. If you do happen to want any of this, and that works really well for your collection, my eBay stuff is in the comments. This isn't necessarily, I'm not trying to sell this on this video. I'm mostly just trying to spread the love for action figures and all things nerd. So stay tuned.
All right, so what we have here is a 1994 Treadmasters Godzilla King of the Monsters. This one comes with a card, which you can kind of see, and glowing atomic plasma eyes. It's the bonus card. Now, the issue with this is it's been opened a little bit. Clearly, the toy hasn't come out, but the bubble is not completely sealed anymore. Remember KB Toys? That was kind of fun. But I thought it was kind of fun, though. Cool little action figure. All right. You ready to be shocked and amazed? Next up, we have the Tick. Yeah. This is from 1994. These are all Bandai products. There are 11 figures in total. And I have the Tick. I forgot all their names. This one is Chairface Chippendale. Yep, Chairface. Am I the only one that remembers this cartoon? But I don't remember anybody's names, which is weird. Just, this is Dynamo. Pretty cool. The sunflower guy is El Cid. Kind of random. And then, of course, you have to have this is Dean. Not Screwhead. It's just Dean. So all of those were from that set. But then they changed from Bandai to Gordy Toy. And this is a bendable. What was her name? American Made. How did I forget that? Probably because I haven't watched it in 20 years. Or more. Geez, what year is this? So maybe like 30 years. This is from the 1996. The Bendables. I guess it was their shot at Stretch Armstrong. I know what you're thinking. You know what? There haven't been enough 90s pop culture references. Well, I have a movie that every boy in the 90s watched. Starship Troopers. This is Carmen Ibanez, played by Denise Richards. It doesn't look anything like her. Zero. But she's got overly large guns, uh, shooting projectiles, this little backpack thing. It's pretty ridiculous. But Denise Richards is not her biggest role, but probably top three, which is sad. And of course, you can't forget that Doogie Howser was in this movie. But just thought this was fun. All right, so this I think is super fun. It is the 1996 Kenner, from the movie The Predator. This is the Stalker Predator with spear, and these all have shooting actions. I was a big fan of the Predator series. I just think they're so fun. He's got great detail on his face. All right, next up we have these two diecast models. I believe these are both from 1999. They're part of the Race Champions or the Hot Rocket Steel diecast set done by Signatures Superstars. These are pretty cool, I think. The only issue is the bubbles are kind of yellowed. But who doesn't love Stevie Ray Vaughan and Ozzy? I think these are really pretty rad. Just two more of the collectibles that were in that huge box of stuff. There are also quite a few starting lineup figures, and certainly ones that I did not collect. The Olympics, for example, these are from 1996, the Timeless Legends collection. There are quite a few athletes on it, but these are pretty neat. I will say that I have a couple of the gymnasts in there, and they look pretty much exactly the same, but that's pretty typical for early 90s figures. But this is Nadia Kamenecki. Woo! I butchered that. But it's pretty cool. 1996, I have zero recollection of her. I have no idea how she did. But neat nonetheless. Kind of see her uniform and stuff. And that's kind of fun. Also, Dan O'Brien, who I do vaguely remember, also from the 1996 edition. Of course, everybody knows Jesse Owens, fastest man in the world. He's got a great story. Here's Dan O'Brien again. I guess you can't have enough Dan O'Briens. And they come with little platforms so they don't fall over. And this one's super cool, I thought. Jim Thorpe. Oh, look at his face. He looks angry. But I really like that one. And my last one, sorry for hitting the camera, is Olga Korbut. Korbut. Also, I mean, she looks pretty much, oh my gosh, so sorry for doing that. If you look at these two right next to each other, they're pretty similar. It's hard to say they don't use just the same figures and mold it quite slightly different. I am sure, based on how her legs look like they articulate, that when she's not in this position, she probably looks pretty weird. Anyway, that's it for this group. There's plenty of more to go through. I just wanted to show y'all what I'm getting started with so far with my I don't know, my toy expedition. I'm not quite sure what to call it, but yeah, I guess the path to breaking even. So we will see what happens. The journey to breaking even. Maybe that's what I should call it. Anyway, recommendations on what I should call this little quest, let me know. And as always, thank you so much for watching.